Hello, hello. My name is Powerful Jasmine, and this platform, Restoration Catalyst, is all about building our relationship with God to gain healing, strength, and peace. So today is so simple, yet it could be complex for a lot. When I say have a conversation with God, I consider myself a Godpreneur, aka an entrepreneur, doing what God leads me to do, the way God leads me to do it. And every now and then I have a business meeting with God. So I transfer or translate that idea over for us in our growing, in our day-to-day, as we are healing, as we're looking over the last few situations or weeks of our lives and going into recovery mode and really adding up the strength that we've gained from the lessons learned. And so growing in peace, I want to share that tip. Just a quick, simple tip, yet, like I said, it could be complex for some because you may think, how do I talk with God? Like, it's not the same as I attended an event this weekend and the woman said, basically, Jesus sitting right there in your living room. Like, how often do we just imagine that God's presence is that simple? God sitting next to us in the bed while we're in the kitchen and just a part of our regular lives. Take the time. If you need it to be super holy and sanctimonious with the music and, a whole vibe. If you need a whole vibe, do that. Enjoy. Set a date for you and the Lord. Make it super special. And for those who just take moments in the everyday, looking at a tree, listening to the birds, just existing, appreciating every breath that we draw because God is allowing us to continue inhaling and exhaling. Thank you, God. If your conversations are as simple as shifting your attention, this is the way I would break it down when I talk about prayer, right? You're not talking to yourself. It's not just talking. When you're directing your attention to God, when you are being intentional and mindful for it being a two-way interaction, that you are giving your thoughts, what is pouring out of your heart is for God's ears, and the conversation is listening. So what does that mean? Or how does that look? To hear or listen to God is honestly following that feeling, being in a consecrated space. So again, if you want to set up a whole ambiance, worship music, get super, super pure in your time with the Lord, have fun. But in the however you do it, making that time to be quiet for your sensitivity to heighten, for your ears to open up a little more, so that when you get that feeling, when you hear God in your spirit, it's a simple moment or urging. Like if you're asking God questions, you can ask for signs, you can ask for details. Like, okay, well, something, this decision by so-and-so, 7 days from now, something. However you are needing God to help you figure out life, have a conversation with God. And it could apply to anything. Who do you want to be in this season? And a simple example would be, for me, meal discipline. And I don't just mean that in terms of not eating as many chips or something like that. Having the mentality and living with a certain discipline or organization for those people who do meal prepping is a whole different world for people who absolutely don't. It's a whole different world for people who don't really regulate their diet and they just eat one meal and snack from the next over and over, day in, day out. So in that sense, for me to feel like God's calling me higher as an individual, as a person, just for my lifestyle, I'm intimidated, a little confused, but I know from past practice that a baby step on the way to being a meal prepper is to be a meal planner. Just at least start there. I think in our relationship with God, as we continue growing as human beings. Appreciate those one steps at a time. Meal planning. But before that, I had about a week, this May of just tracking. And I think that was a little more annoying than planning. But anyway, I allowed myself room to grow. And I won't say I prayed through the options. It wasn't like a super spiritual thing for me in this case. But the example is that I feel like that's an area of growth for me that I can still talk with God about. Ask God for strategy. Ask God for steps and methods, who to talk to even. God can align your life in such a way that the conversations you have and the people that you interact with are all a part of lining you up for those specific things or areas of your life that you're praying about. So I hope that example made sense. But anyway, this was just a light chatter for us to continue growing in our relationship with God. Have a good one.